I am shocked by some of the comments and the enthusiasm that you guys share with me on that junkyard video I did last week. I'm at another yard. This one is in Nottingham, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at this. Check it out. The sheer size and scope of this thing is just huge. It's even hard to get it in the frame. At first I thought it was like a Trailways bus. And clearly it's not. And it's got a little custom bodywork up top. You see that? I've always wanted to check out these, see what it looked like, see how they work. No. See how things are all put together in here, and this one's a mess. And you can see down here we have a little problem going on with the engine. Just a minor mishap. And out back, there ain't much left to this thing. Man, I hope everybody made it out alive on this. Right behind that travel bus is a cool old wrecker, and one of the things I've always liked about these things, I guess this era or this vintage, is the artwork, is the hand painting, sometimes the logos and the design work. You know, it's just kind of cool. It harks back to another era, another time. This one's pretty cool looking. I like the proportions on it. I've always liked wreckers anyway. Yeah. I had an old International Harvester at one point, and the fuse box, just like this one, it was inside the glove compartment, so I'm guessing this is an International also. The gauges kind of resemble that. Alright, we'll let this one rest in peace. And check out this great artwork. Again, man, you don't see this stuff anymore. This yard is pretty well organized. There's a Ford section over here, a Chevy over there. I'm in Mopar section. You can see there's this access road that goes all around the property. And because of that, I think these cars are more picked over than the last junkyard I was at. Check out this guy. This Dodge Omni is an exception. It doesn't look bad at all. I mean, yeah, there's some surface rust. The tires are holding air. The interior, I mean, it's all there. It's all clean. It's not like it's been destroyed or beat up. I mean, when is the last time you've seen a Dodge Omni? You know, a buddy of mine in high school had one of these. His name's Dave. Man, it was years old by the time he had gotten his car. Just like this, same color and everything. And, I mean, he loved it. I'm shocked and a little disappointed that this car's here. It deserves to be out on the road again. Check out this little sweetie right behind the Omni. It's a Dodge Daytona Turbo. I'm gonna say, I don't know, mid-80s, 85, 86 maybe. These were everywhere on the road at one point. And now, I mean, it's just, now it's an automatic. But look how clean that is, man. It's all together. It's got some HVAC parts in the back. We got power windows and locks. I mean, yeah, it's all beat up. It's a junkyard car. Looks like there's a lot of good parts on this thing. This thing, man, I know I keep saying it, but it needs to live. It needs to continue on. It shouldn't be here. Here's a Plymouth Sundance, just like in last week's junkyard video. This one looks like it's painted with the same paint as Crown Vics, right? That Peel Performance white. Look at this. This is more basic than the other one. I mean, we're talking crank windows and manual transmission. I didn't know that these things were hatchbacks. I guess all of them are? I have no idea. Never realized that before. And next to that is a Mitsubishi Galant. My wife and I, we bought one of these brand new, 2001. It was an EX V6 model. And I mean, it's a car that still sticks with me as being really good, really fun to drive. Kind of plain interior, but it had 195 horsepower V6. This one is picked apart. I think they all came with automatics. You know, it just real basic and plain, but the thing was reliable, dependable, handled well. It was smooth and quiet. I mean, it did a lot of things well. This is during the heyday of Mitsubishi, too. Remember, they had the Galant, they had the Eclipse also, and, you know, that was just about it. And after that, it was just a downward slide. And speaking of Eclipse, here's what I think is the last generation Eclipse that came to the U.S. A convertible, no less. Picked apart. I don't know if that was a fire. I don't know what is going on here. At one point, these things were everywhere on the road. I mean, Mitsubishi, they imploded over the past few years. They can't seem to do anything right. But this is one of their halo cars from that era. Over in the pickup section, I've always liked this Dodge Ram generation. I think it started somewhere in like 73. You know, I've always thought these were cool. It's kind of a square, boxy look. The seats look surprisingly nice. The dash is pulled apart. You know, you can pick up a nice original Dodge Ram of this era for not a lot of money. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 grand for something really clean, really nice. This one, I mean, it's going to give up parts to keep others on the road. And over here we have a Grand Am GT and what's probably the coolest wheels Pontiac ever put on these cars. Oh, the door's hot. Interior is nice and clean, it's well put together. It's probably a, what, quad 4? Is that what the standard engine is on these? Behind that, the Aero 4-cylinder. This one's a manual too. So we got an Astro van over here, and I'm gonna pop in there to see if there's any good seats that we can use. From the side, this thing is a wreck. Doors wide open. Inside, you see what I mean about these cars being more picked over? It's got rear air conditioning. I mean, everything's so easy to get to in this lot versus the other. And so, man, there's a lot of parts taken off. We got a well picked over, well rusted mid-70s, I'm guessing, Chevy pickup. And check out the fog lights on the bumper. That was the thing to do, wasn't it? I've never seen the attraction for these. But I know a lot of people do, and they got a lot of versatility. This one is beat up. A grab handle, yeah. Wow, a lot of visibility back there, man. I'm surprised, never seen one inside before. You have a 70s to, I don't know, mid 80s or so era Suburban. Camaro, Cavalier, another Camaro. And I got to admit, I got this soft spot in my heart for these cars. This is a Skylark. Oldsmobile's version was an Achieva. I'm out there looking all the time for something good, something nice, like an Achieva or Skylark. They don't come up too often. And when they do, they're usually dirt cheap. This one's basic. This is, I mean, there's no extras on this one. This looks to me to be, I don't know, 95, 96 era, simply because of the dash. It had a more wild and crazy dash design on the earlier models. I looked at these when they were brand new. I came close to buying one. That was, I don't know, 1992, 93, something like that. You know, I made a better decision not to buy one new. You know, I still look at these with fond memories and a little soft spot in my heart. And check this out, behind the Volvo, in the bushes, back by the big trucks. Look at this, a full-size Mercedes. I'm guessing a W126. This is shocking me. I'm so surprised to see this here. I don't think this thing's been picked over because it's been buried back here, hidden out of sight. These things, I mean, these things last forever. Look how nice that interior is. Oh, never mind. And, oh my gosh. You see the miles? Does not deserve to be here. I can't even imagine what brought it here. These things run forever, drive great. They're way ahead of their times in terms of engineering and safety. I have no idea why someone hasn't snatched this up and put it back on the road. And then right around the corner, we have another full-size Mercedes S-Class. Let's take a look, see what engine, what model this is. Is that a 400? Remember these things, when you throw it in reverse, they pop up. It's almost like a guide for finding where the rear of the car is when you're maneuvering in tight spots. Terrible, ugly color of interior, but it looks brand new. No rips, no tears. 250,000 miles. I mean, this was top of the line luxury. Mid 90s, I guess. These things were notorious for head gaskets blowing on them, even at 100,000 miles. And that was the big knock on this era S-Class. Here we go, a Crown Vic Police Interceptor. You wouldn't know it at first glance. This thing is pummeled. Man. Oh, it's got the cop chip. Look at that. Oh, that's a shame. It's tough to see, man. And lastly, Ford Aerostar. Check it out. Just like the one I had. You know, I had bought one of these earlier this year, paid $275 for it, got it from a state surplus auction, and it needed a little bit of work, but it ran nice when I was done with it. It was enjoyable to drive. This one has the airbags. Nothing on the passenger side. Picked apart, loaded with trash. Oh, look at the interior. My headliner was the same thing. The seats look good. They were comfortable to sit in and ride in. I mean, it did everything well. I mean, I was so surprised and so pleased with that purchase. And it's a nice find. This one looks like it's got some parts to give. And it could keep other Aerostars on the road. This one's the XL. It's the base model. I'm surprised that it has the T-tag on it, meaning that somebody registered it or couldn't get it registered, maybe emissions. But otherwise, it's kind of sad to see it here. All right, so that's my time at the yard. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me. If you like these types of videos, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.